I'm trying to fix my. We're live. I'm trying to fix my camera. I mean, if you want me to do it naked, I'm going to try and get the macro zoom on my camera on.
No, leave it zoomed well out, mate. Leave it zoomed well out.
What are you trying to say?
I was just reading the graffiti on the wall in the toilets at Southampton. That's all I was doing.
Yeah, I bet you were.
I didn't know you could do that. In fairness, mate, I didn't think that was possible. But well done.
Is anyone else tired today?
Yeah, I was knackered. I was really tired at work today.
All I did was after the game went for a few beers, watched the draw, went back to the hotel, had another beer, then took Maisie to bed because she was tired. I slept in a bed. I woke up. I've had breakfast, went for some fresh air, rode home in the back of the car doing nothing, and I'm knackered. I don't know why. It's hard work travelling.
Travelling does take it out of you, and last night, even though we didn't play in it, will have emotionally taken me out. And it was, I mean, God knows what it was like for the lads to play in. I mean, I was exhausted at the end of it watching it.
I can't be coping with many journeys that long again.
Oh no, the M25 is about as far as Mike goes from now on, is it?
I was not feeling well when I came out the M25. Oh, here he is.
Hello. Who's that?
You beautiful man. Look at you.
Hey, I'll tell you what I have done because I was away yesterday. I've just turned the calendar over, and you know how Danilo Orsi was Mr. February, and he had a real big impact in February. Look how it is for March. Holohan's Mr. March.
Sorry, you can't see it from here, but I noticed the same as well. I crossed out. Have you crossed out Sutton on the thing, Bruce, and written Brighton in yet?
No, I've got to take my tickets back, and I've got to try and cancel the trains for Sutton. Although, having said that, I could use the same train for Sutton that I might need for Brighton, if that makes sense.
Well, if we're going on, even if it was on the Sunday, you could come on the Saturday, couldn't you? Stay on the Saturday night and make a weekend of it.
Yeah, the only problem is Maisie had a free weekend that weekend and she didn't have a game, and it's a bit of a local derby and she wants to play. So there was already a problem because I'd booked 4 adults and Maisie on a family and friends rail card, and now the junior's not coming.
Alex, are you okay, mate?
Oh, he's muted again. He's talking while he's muted. Oh, he keeps doing this. He's getting...
Look at losing this flag. Look how it's affected him. He's an emotional wreck.
Now he's not muted, but he still can't hear him.
We still can't hear him.
Oh, we'll carry on, shall we? We'll carry on. Yeah.
You're not come down for. Are you not going to come down for Sutton for the because I suspect it will now be on the last weekend of the season, which will be the 2nd of May. So I'm still going to go to that game, but
isn't that around the FA Cup final day? We can't be doing that.
FA Cup finals the 3rd of June, which is my sister's birthday. So that's going to go down like a lead balloon, isn't it? When me and my dad say, right, we're off to Wembley that day to watch us play Manchester City in the FA Cup final.
Well, that's going to cause havoc with our pre-season again, isn't it?
No, is this a short season again, is it?
Oh, we're going to have an extra 3 weeks over everybody else. Oh, fuck's sake.
A little bit different, though, because there'll be no game for 4 weeks in between, and we can work out our recruitment in between. So it won't be quite as bad as last season. And also, the 2 million prize pot we get for winning the FA Cup should mean we can outbid some of the other sides on the players that are going loose. So
not to mention that trip to Besiktas is going to finally Andrew Dallas might think, I don't want to be next to Jaguar Land Rover for the rest of my life.
Are you in denial? I explained this to you yesterday. We can't go.
Yeah, I'm in denial.
Europe.
Look,
Egypt aren't in the Conference League. What are you on about?
Should I tell you the problem? It's just 4 people doing dad jokes. That's the problem with this podcast.
I heard somebody behind me on the way out of the ground yesterday saying, "Oh, Fenerbahce away, Besiktas away," and I turned to my wife and I said, "If we play Fenerbahce away in Turkey, there's town fans, that will be locked up. Like they won't be coming back."
Oh, yeah, it won't be good.
That's going to be a good laugh, isn't it? Next year when I'm at kind of like, can I go to this meeting? No, sorry, I've got a plane to Turkey. I'm watching Town away in Europe.
Just think of next year's season ticket sales after that happens. 1,000 off the gate because we played Fenerbahce.
You'd only get a ticket for it though if you'd been to Winterton in a pre-season friendly.
What, the 8-1 game?
Could you imagine?
Is Fenerbahce outside the M25?
Not if you fly.
I mean, there are some parts of yeah. Don't worry. Yeah, I'm not going to say
think about that. Think about that, mate.
Yeah.
we don't want to have to issue an apology, Alex.
Oh no.
The only reason I'm offended by the idea of dad jokes is I'm not a dad.
No,
That's
but
what you
like
say.
one of us. You're like one of us, Sam.
Sam, you're too old for your time. That's the problem. You're meant to be into
granddad.
grime.
Oh my! I'd quite like Nirvana, to be fair. So,
Who?
Nirvana. That's grunge, isn't it? Right, move on. Well,
It's taking a turn on it.
Who's that?
Are we on?
Oh,
Oh, hello.
Do we need to talk about last? Do we need to talk about last night, Alex? Do you need to press the button?
I'm really sorry. Yeah, I'm just doing stuff. I didn't do any prep. I was too busy watching Paddy try and commit suicide on Emmerdale.
You didn't do any prep. Was it any different?
Yeah, that's true. But I feel like we should have done something.
In the WhatsApp group, one time have I seen a list of 6 things, and that time we didn't even talk about 5 of them.
That was his Christmas list.
Have we thought about talking the football?
I'd imagine in the Fenty days, it just must be like bullet point.
You've been watching Emmerdale. And Maisie's downstairs watching a full repeat of last night's game.
I'll be honest. Yeah.
Apparently, I've been spotted on the telly. My auntie's texting me before I got here. She's rewatching it tonight. I've been at the parliamentary bar, and people. Honestly, we'll talk about it more. I have never had more. I have never had more interest in being. People have never come up to me. People have been come round to the office. Want to talk about the game last night. I mean, one guy came up to me and went, "Did you see you won last night?" And I was like, "No, you've just told me now. This is revolutionary news to you." And I think,
I'll be honest. I've got to imagine that in Parliament, that's how people talk about football. Like we've got to keep ahead.
There's a massive parliamentary staffers football chat that I'm in, and it's just
There we go. I've made it different. I've put a thing up. Right, we're going to go to the proper thing, and I'll come in with proper mood music and everything.
So I'm just thinking about Tarquin in this WhatsApp football group.
Oh dear. Right. Anyway, where are we at? Oh,
I think Tarquin was playing the Eton Wall game.
Yeah.
Right. Let's talk about football.
Open wide for some soccer!
And now the shipping forecast issued by the Met Office on behalf of the Maritime and Coast Guard Agency at 1130. Go! At 1130.
They've done it! They've done it! It's Maguire Drew! They've done it again, this team!
What a magnificent piece of football!
Really, really good goal!
You can't legislate for that!
Grimsby are heading back to the Football League.
love it.
I've got a slight feeling we may have some better video clips to put into that for next year. Welcome this evening to a special FA Cup. Are we in the final yet? Quarter final, 5th round. I don't know what you want to call it. Bizarre, gala, shenanigans. The Mariners are into the quarterfinals. We're all there. We're all still mentally there. So, press the Sky Q button to pause it for a bit, and let's have a quick chat about it. We want to get everybody talking.
Unmute, Alex. Unmute.
Oh,
This
he's
is
busted
going
it
really
again.
well, isn't it? Really
We were going to
well.
get his thoughts then, weren't we? I think he enjoyed it, didn't he? He said. He did say that he enjoyed it. No.
It now just looks like he's doing a Keegan run. Like, I'd love it.
Right. What Alex was trying to say is we're going to get everybody's thoughts, aren't we? We'd like you to, if you've got anything, messages in the chat, however you're listening. Obviously, if you're not listening live, then don't phone up because it'll cost you.
If you're watching a repeat, do not vote.
Yeah, and we will. With Alex will. It's not like the biggest, most thing that's happened to us in 84 years, and it's gone wrong.
Hey,
Are you back
can you hear me now? Am I back?
Yes.
Alex,
Good.
if you play the VT again, nobody will know.
We're not doing that again. Look, so we want as many of you saying hello as possible. Let's get maximum interaction on this, as they all say. So come say hello to everyone. Let's have a chat. We want to know about your thoughts on last night because there isn't enough that we can put together to be able to talk about it. Ben says he doesn't have the permission from Bill Payer, unfortunately. I've talked to Bill Payer. He said it was fine. It's great. So we're here. So first and foremost, let's say hello to Bruce. I'm not sure whether the win yesterday or the £6.50 pizza meal deal was the most exciting part to happen to him yesterday, but he's well here as well. Hello, Mr. Fennick.
Hiya, mate. How are you?
I'm all right, thank you. What was the better bit, the £6.50 pizza or the win?
That was brilliant the way that Sam told you about it, and then you told me, and I was about to pay a tenner for a pizza for Maisie, and then there was a £6 lunch deal, and because we'd arrived in plenty of time, she had a drink and a lovely fresh made pizza for £6.50, and I even got a few slices to go wash down with the Heineken. So yes, it was a close run thing.
And then it was getting passed around between those lads who were sitting behind us, who I went to sit with for a bit, who then found out about it. I'd have got involved with it, but for the fact I thought my dad might buy my tea. So I
did he buy your tea? Because he certainly didn't buy mine.
Sorry,
he bought mine. Yeah, he bought mine. Yeah, I snuck off secretly while you went off to Yates's. I think it was to go and have a lovely pre-match meal. Which if I ever go to Southampton again, I'll be going there again. Just because we won. But no.
As long as your dad comes.
Yeah, as long as my dad. I think it's the first time since Walsall actually that my dad, me, and my auntie have all been there. We've managed to won. Sorry, Colchester, because we were taking the mick out of Dad for being a bit of a curse in recent, because he was at Swindon and so on, and he was at Hartlepool. The last two away games he'd been to, they were both and Harrogate, sorry, as well. So they were all brilliant away days, weren't they? So Dad's hoodoo is broken. I'm going to allow him to come back again.
He will be delighted to hear it.
I'm not sure what it'll make to me say. I'm not sure what it'll make to me saying that I've bought my season ticket for years and so on. But
what was nice yesterday was that actually after a few attempts this season, I finally got to tick off a new ground that I hadn't been to. I'm assuming it was a new ground for all you three, was it or not? Has anybody been before?
I've only driven past it because they had the COVID test centre there once, and I had to go there to get a test done.
Is that a new one for me? And I had a great day, and I was really enjoying it, and I've enjoyed today until I've just found out you guys were all telling each other about a £6.50 pizza meal deal, and nobody looked in on that. So
I'm sorry, mate.
You've ruined the whole experience for me now.
We had a lovely time in that O'Neill's. I'll be going back there. I was texting my friends from work, and they kind of said, "Well, we need to go on a day out to Southampton if we can have a pizza and a pint for £6.50."
I just like a pub. I've got friends that like real ale. I tend to find that real ale pubs tend to be quiet.
This is the conversation we've got right
and now. I like a pub that's got something for everybody. And I thought Sam that O'Neill's had if you wanted lager, you could get, there was Moretti, there was Madri, there was Heineken. If you wanted your real ale, there was some funny taps on the wall. It was a lovely place. It did decent food. And it had sport on the telly. What more can you ask for? And we did see a wicket in the end, didn't we? Because we were watching some T20 Blast or something.
Kohler Cadmore got out, didn't he, on the boundary? People listening to this, but
I love this, that we've just had one of our most historic victories in the club's history, and we're talking about the Pakistani Super League.
could we talk more about the pizza?
Pizza's really good, actually.
I went to Kokora as well, Mike. I don't know if you've had that yet.
A what?
Have you not got a Kokora in Sutton? It's like
literally just sounds Chinese food. Oh, I was just going to say, literally sounds like a noise a bird makes or something. No idea.
Ben doesn't like real ale by the sounds of it. Simon has fallen asleep. Look.
Yeah.
Well,
let's talk about Grimsby Town, shall we?
Let's start with the negative.
That's a novel idea.
Our flag has been stolen. I'm going to go with stolen. Someone has stolen the flag, and we would quite like it back. But I'll tell you what it did do, because before it was stolen, it was also forgotten, because I left the ground and I was halfway to the car before I realised I'd left it in the ground. So I had to walk back, and it was so wonderful because it was actually quite nice, and I wish I'd have filmed it, because I had to walk like against the flow of all the town fans coming out, and they were all, pumping and really energetic and jumping on each other and saying hello, and saw Mike and the family as well. As I'm just running, I've forgotten the flag.
When you walk past me and you just shot past, I've never seen something move so quick.
You thought
And
it
I
was a
said
free
hello.
pizza?
Yeah. They're like, where's the pizzas? And my wife said to me, well, should we go and help him? And I just delayed a couple of seconds so you were far enough away that I was like, oh, he's gone now. He's gone.
But it was, do you know what? It was so beautiful. Such a good, everyone was so happy, and they're all in their little mate groups and their family groups, and they're all chatting and jumping at each other. And still, if I wish I'd have filmed it, but I was too worried about losing the flag, but it has been lost.
Could I just say,
RIP the fallen.
Can I just say about this flag? Like, if you are the person that has taken the flag, you can either return it or the old flag will come back, and nobody.
Yeah, that's the threat.
So
if I don't have it back, yeah.
I feel like out of that taken, like we will find it and we will bring it back.
Ben's right. If you could please put the letter F into the chat as remembrance for the flag, that'd be really appreciated. Just to remember it. And I'll be honest, if it doesn't come back, Crawley away, keeper's shape flag is upstairs and I'm bringing it out. So it's coming whether you like, and it's going to brighten and all.
I'm a little bit more mischievous with this flag. I think what should happen is whoever's
you've fucking stolen it. That's what it is.
I think whoever's taken it should make sure that it goes to Carlisle on Saturday and is put up, and then somebody else has got to take it down and take it away, and then keep doing that until you go to a game where it can be reunited with you and you just get to take it down.
Yeah, but then I'm wondering why why it's at Fenerbahce.
Sorry. That would be brilliant, though, if you just look at an iFollow on Saturday and there's the flag just appears at the back of the stand.
You're not there.
That'd be brilliant if that happens.
Put BT Sport on it, Sydney FC against Brisbane Roar, and there's just like the flag there. But didn't somebody say it was a man in his 60s with little hair?
Yeah, and then you said it was me.
Well, we're not entirely sure that could be you at a distance, in fairness.
There's still enough here. What's going on?
Yeah, you keep telling yourself that, mate.
It's the lighting.
It's the lighting.
I'm not joining in this conversation.
No, I don't think you can.
Mine's fighting a retreat. Yeah,
it's not fighting a retreat.
It's gone.
Mine's routed like Bakhmut. Yeah. It's but it's if you do that, that'd be quite funny. If you did steal it, that'd be a dick and give my flag back because people paid for that. Anyway, it's a worthy loss if that's the case. But it was really nice to see Dale's stolen it. Is he? I'm 55, not in my 60s. If Dale's stolen it and he takes it to Carlisle, that'd be quite funny. Where do you even start? How are you both? How are you all feeling before the game? Sam, I was relatively positive, and you. What were your thoughts?
I gave us, you gave us a 45% chance if memory serves us correctly.
I did,
but I gave us a small. I think the expression I used, I could see a path to victory, which was wrong because the path to victory I saw was a sort of like.
He's already started it like a manifesto.
Sorry, we're talking a lot about path to victory at the moment. But basically, how I saw we could win the game was Crocombe pulls off a series of world-class saves. They miss a load of great chances, and then we score a worldie on the break from McAtee or Holohan. The only bit I got right about that was Holohan scored, not the manner in which he scored. But before the game, I was sort of like, I'm here for a good day out. I'm enjoying it. I'm having a few drinks with my friends, and I'm going to go to the game with my family. Then we're going to go home, and we've made the 5th round of the cup, and it's a great day. I mean, I didn't have any expectation, of honest, not even any hope really. I was just, as I walked out the game, just sheer disbelief. I mean, we walked out and someone sort of like, how does that compare to the away day at Wrexham? And I just said it was completely different in emotion because Wrexham was kind of like, it just like, how do you process this sort of game that's just happened? Yesterday was just like a sheer disbelief. Couldn't quite get my head around the fact we'd won at a Premier League team. I mean, that's an all-timer yesterday, not just in the context of Grimsby Town, in the context of FA Cup history. That's a kind of it's one of those. I mean, we're the first League Two side to reach the quarterfinals apparently since 1990. I know Lincoln were non-league when they made it in 2017, so therefore they don't count. But it's sort of like you try and contextualize these things, and it's just beyond the bounds of reason, really. I mean, we are the first ever team in the history of the FA Cup, full stop, to win 5 games in proper knockout games against sides above us. And I know I'm going on here a bit, but I'm still sort of like startled by the fact I could see your faces. It's like, I mean, I woke up this morning and I was like, this had actually happened. It wasn't a dream. And I don't know what you all think. I'm sure you'll all have your say in a minute, but I'm just genuinely astonished and in disbelief that it actually happened.
Good. Mike, what are your thoughts? Go on. Download.
Yeah, so I wasn't laughing at you, Sam. I was laughing at Simon Hodson's comments there in the chat. Proper dad joke. So I gave us probably about a 10-15% chance. I thought, it's really, really unlikely that we're going to get anything from it. You just want to go there, give a good account of yourself, and similar to what Paul Hurst said, just don't get embarrassed and show that you're a decent team and put up a fight. Very sort of early on, you could see that we were sort of up for it, and we were sort of on form in terms of defending well, trying to break, trying to create things, not just sit back. So I got a little bit more encouraged. But before the game, I said to my wife and my son, like, we're going to lose. And I was trying to temper my son's expectations. And then once we scored, I was like, well, that's the moment. I've had the moment now. That's the thing you can sort of remember. And I was like, they're going to come right back at us in the second half. But I think that ridiculous thing that their centre-back did just sort of pretty much ended the game for them, because they needed to score 2 then just to draw. So I was absolutely amazed, and I'm pretty much lost for words. I still not comprehended it. I don't really know what happened in the game, because you're living on the sort of emotion of it. And it's just balmy, isn't it? It's absolutely balmy.
I don't know whether I thought about winning the game or not really before. The whole, it's the experience that I was looking forward to, and I said somewhere else earlier today, it's changed a little bit now that Maisie goes with me quite a bit. It's a day on the moderate piss rather than a day on the drinking all day. We'd had a few beers. We'd met up with a couple of you guys, met up with lots of other friends and different groups of people. And it was just like, that was what I wanted. I didn't want us to be embarrassed. And, and this is for like these sort of games now were for, I'm there, but it's more about like Sam and Maisie and then, the under 30s. And I just think that's really, it's their time. I've been to Liverpool, and we've been to Newcastle and won, and we've beaten Spurs at home that you guys have seen, and stuff like that. So I didn't really go with any expectations. I just wanted us to not be embarrassed, because I thought Chelsea, as I've said before, was embarrassing. People had a good day, but it was embarrassing that we lost as heavily as we did. So yeah, I don't think I sort of went like that, but it became quite apparent quite early on that things were going our way, and it was, I'd forgotten until we watched it back earlier, that they had the ball in the net after a few minutes, didn't they? And it was offside. They checked it out and it was offside. So they had, 2 goals disallowed for offside, and we had the VAR decisions, and then the Orsi thing, things went our way, didn't they? And you need that, like Hurst said, but things went very much our way. But I thought they had a lot of the ball, but they didn't really create that much. The biggest danger was when they kept cutting in, wasn't it? And every time they cut inside, dropped a shoulder, it seemed to lose whoever was marking them.
I think, Bruce, one of the things that sort of helped, and I mean, you're watching a game like that and you can't really pay much attention to what's going on because of the emotion, but from my memory, I think we did really well defensively at keeping the middle of the pitch sort of really, really solid, and they had to go round us, which is why they had the ball out wide a lot. And I can't remember them having much where an attacker's running at one of our centre halves. It's all in front of us or down the side of us. And we managed to keep that discipline for 96 minutes. And I think if a team is trying to break another team down. Having the ball out wide when we've got two good centre backs is very difficult for them to score a lot of goals. So I think we kept our discipline well and stuck to that sort of game plan really, really well. But as I say, watching the game there, that's the only little bit I picked up on, because you don't really pay attention to what's going on too much. You're just a little bit like, oh my God, what's happening?
That goes back to the point we discussed and who might be the man of the match was, and I thought you couldn't look beyond Waterfall or Mishi, given that at no point, I mean, you say about the offside goals, they were both offside, they're both marginal offsides, but that just shows how well the line was working, how obviously well focused and how concentrated defenders were. And that's completely right about how we had it out wide. I mean, you still feared every time Ward-Prowse got on the ball in the second half that he was going to create something. But that was about it, wasn't it? How many saves can you remember Crocombe actually making? There were a couple of things that he's caught and sort of held relatively easily. I can't. He's not exactly pulled off a series of world-class save to keep us in it, has he? And that's testament to how well. I mean, as you say about the ball out wide, you're going to back Waterfall to giving you with three centre halves, Waterfall to win every cross that comes into the box, and I can't remember him missing one.
I can only remember I can remember Waterfall having to apologise for one thing in the first half when they were attacking our end. I can't remember what he did or what had happened.
He made a mess of it, didn't he, early doors? He sort of tried to control it with his chest, and it ended up kind of getting it bounced awkwardly for him, and they sort of and they spooned it over from there on. We sort of got away with it. As I said, it was another thing.
Max made a save, didn't he? But it didn't really matter because it was offside anyway. So nothing would have come from it. But
that's the only thing I remember. One mistake.
He sort of tried to control it, didn't he? Went through him, man behind him, clean through, and I think Crocombe saved it. But that's all I can remember. Any sort of defensive mistakes at all?
I just thought our performance was pretty good, and we were doing, it was pretty good. I enjoyed the way we could keep the ball. That part just before they scored their first, I thought we retained the ball at times really quite well, and especially towards the end of the first half, it felt like we were really comfortable in what we had. And it was in comparison to, say, Gillingham, ironically enough, I felt we kept the ball a hell of a lot better than what we did against those, and we were able to, break with some purpose, and we're really, really, really good at taking that to us. When we think, Bruce, like when we played Liverpool back, I remember us just being defending for, until they scored their penalty. We just defended the whole game. They were the better team and they dominated the ball, but I still think we had chances. And you had McAtee's one where he just took an extra touch when he could have, gone through for a third. And Otis Khan had an opportunity as well. He just couldn't get the ball under control towards the end of the game as they were pushing forward too. So we could have scored a few more. If I'm a Southampton fan, I'm fuming, because that's a relegation, League Two performance in terms of the team. The players were quick, like that was that you could tell the difference. They were pretty good at the shape of how they moved their body, and they were running out from the back, and all of a sudden it was up against us quite quickly. But it was just, they were just so mentally frayed. It was incredible, and it wasn't just the central defender that hit Orsi in the back, which, by the way, is a penalty. It's not, just shut up. And then the other guy, the bleached blonde hair guy, was screaming and jumping up and down and going apoplectic with rage at times instead of getting his head in the game. It was incredible. It really was how these so-called, professionals that get tens of thousands of pounds a week had just lost their shit. It was quite funny.
He made a lot of changes, didn't he? And 9 changes, which looked to have unsettled them. Now, if I'm a Southampton fan, I'm angry, but I'm also worried looking at that performance. What I would say I was impressed with, and we saw this a little bit more at Leyton Orient, is we're going away to a Premiership team. There is going to be an element of trying to put the ball in the channel to relieve a bit of pressure. But quite a lot of the time when we got the ball, turned it over in our defensive third, we're trying to play out. We're trying to play through the thirds, trying to play into the middle, play out wide. And I thought some of that is really brave when you're away at a Premier League team. And I was impressed with that. And that sort of set the tone for how we were going to play. We understand we're the underdog, but we're going to do our defensive job right, and we're going to try and play football right and try and create some chances. So honestly, amazing.
And I think there's I don't really want to do a Sam as well and sort of, say, oh, these guys were man of match. I thought they all played particularly well. I thought they were all solid, and everyone seems to be coming in with different players that performed at the level they wanted to. But yeah, it was everyone to a man performed their duty really well, even those who came on later on. And Evan Corey to come on in a game of that magnitude and to make that tackle. Was it on Walcott he made that tackle on? I know Waterfall made a waterfall tackle on him, but whoever it was that slunk away from him and he got back behind him, that was incredible.
It was the winger, wasn't it? Whose name escapes me.
It was Walker Peters.
It was. Who I thought was probably their best player, apart from Ward-Prowse, I thought was probably their best player on the night. It was the waterfall tackle on Walcott reminded me of Van Dijk. It's sort of like there's a bit of trouble here. Oh wait, no, Waterfall sorted it, and that kind of like appeared to remedy it. That reminded me of watching Van Dijk, really, which I never thought I'd compare Luke Waterfall to Virgil van Dijk, but it was unsung. Because they had the ball out wide and so on, it kind of suited Waterfall a little bit because, bizarrely enough, a lot of the game was in front of him, and Waterfall struggles if he's running back towards his own goal. But he managed the situation brilliantly. He was cajoling the back five to get out of it a bit. I mean, I was speaking to some Southampton fans on the train on the way back to Waterloo, and they basically said that they were really impressed with us, despite the fact we were League Two, how the back five or even back six occasionally just gave nothing away. He said it's one thing we could get frustrated about how you set up, but you're going to set up like that. And how we managed, how obviously well coached we were, that we were in shape, we all knew our jobs, we all knew how to cover and so on. And that's testament to Hurst, really, and the way you can set his sides up. He talked about, you mentioned, Mike, didn't you, about moving the ball. He actually mentioned that before the Forest game. I remember in a pre-match interview saying that you've got to take the ball. You can't just kick it forward because these teams, it can be pass, bang, goal. And he talked about that beforehand. And so it was obviously an instruction. And hence, I thought Alex Hunt's contribution was invaluable because he was sort of integral to that, sort of like have a touch, play it wide, keep the ball. And that just alleviates a little bit of pressure, which obviously turned out to be Chris.
Oh, he's gone. Right. Well, sorry, everyone. So many things coming in, and you're all making excellent points. Like, Richard Sutcliffe said Emmanuel's quick low cross that led to the handball. He seems pretty good at the crosses. He really does. And I thought Emmanuel was that little bit of touch of class that we had on that right. That one where he was able to take it away in the second half to try and put the ball in, and it just, I think it went over McAtee's head, and then I think Glennon tried to put a quick cross in afterwards too. That's a little bit of an outlet we had, that little bit of pace, which we really do miss as a team.
He's really good. He's really good, Alex. When he's got the ball on the wing, he sort of goes to go backwards and just drops his shoulder and just sends the fullback for sends him where he was going. And I've seen him do that quite a few times.
Yeah, absolutely. Someone not too happy about the draw, but this is the whole point of this FA Cup draw. I can't pronounce your name, Vealman. I'll have a go. That's what I'll say. Of the 14 possible options for the quarter-final draw, Brighton away was the worst. Even Fulham away would have given us a day out in London. It doesn't matter. The whole point of this draw is we get the worst draw. That's how it's been since the start, and we still win it. That's the whole point. Luton away, come on, in the fourth round, that shows exactly how poorly we were treated. So, Plymouth the first round, that's it, the whole point of this. We'll get them, then we'll get Man City in the semi-final, and then we'll get Sheffield United in the final. And that's how it's going to be. That's how this whole thing will look. And we'll still come out with a lovely piece of tin that I still want to drop under a bus.
Sorry.
When I watched the draw, sorry.
The FA Cup final between Grimsby Town and Sheffield United. Imagine if that happened.
Yep. And everyone else will hate it, but still. Doesn't matter. We'll win it.
I watched the draw last night. Obviously, straight after the game, we went into some Southampton pub, behaved ourselves relatively well, and to be fair, they were all right. I was disappointed at the time, and I sort of had to pick myself up after a couple of minutes and just sort of say, hang on a minute, we're in the last 8 of the cup. It was almost like you'd gone from the elation of the result and the score and everything to, oh God, pretty Brighton away, but I'm over that now, and I tweeted that thing earlier, didn't I, with the quarterfinals, and it's just like I still can't believe that ours is one of the 8 names that's on there in 4 fixtures. It's just like
it looks ridiculous.
We're in the
like someone's photoshopped it.
We're in the quarterfinals of the FA Cup, the last 8. It's the first. We've only played in the FA Cup twice in our entire history later than we'll have played in the weekend of the 18th of March, and that's in the 2 semi-finals that we've got to. We've never
Look at that for a stat.
We've never been just in the quarterfinals of this FA Cup. We've always made the semis.
I understand that, my initial reaction was a little bit disappointed. When you look at it, it's the 3rd best draw I think we get. You've got Burnley, you've got Blackburn, Sheffield United in there. You don't want any of them. You want one of the Manchester teams, and if you don't get them, I think Brighton away is probably the 3rd best. So I don't think it's that bad.
Well, this is the question that. Sorry.
The new ground for everybody, and okay, I'm going to get carried away here, but imagine if they turn up and think, oh, they can't do it again, and they pick their reserves, and they're worried about finishing in the Europa League or the Champions League places, and they all get carried away with all those seagulls that eat all the fish.
They've got Palace. They've got Palace before us as well,
and we've got a free week before the. And we've got a free week
game
before.
for them.
I think that most of the people up here that would have chosen I would have chosen Sheffield United over Brighton.
I haven't been to Bramall Lane. That would have been a great draw for me. It's a derby.
It's a derby, and I think people up here would probably have chosen. Most people would probably have chosen Blackburn over and Burnley. I think Brighton. I don't want to dwell on it because, like I say, I am over it. But I think. For me, it was one of the worst. Like you say, it's a new ground, Mike. And like Sam said, I've not been, and I will go. But I've never been to Burnley, and I've been to Bramall Lane loads of times. But can you imagine what the atmosphere would have been like at Bramall Lane with us against Sheffield United after all these years? It would have been, well, the police wouldn't have been very happy. Put it that way.
It'd have been played at 3 a.m. on the moon.
For me, it isn't about the ground. It's the fact that you're in the quarterfinals of the FA Cup. Surely now is when you want to be playing the biggest team you can to get the most exposure, the most money. And outside of those Manchester clubs, I think Brighton is the 3rd biggest and the 3rd that's going to make us the most money left. We could play Sheffield United. It would be a good day, but I don't think it's going to get the exposure that our town needs, and our town needs exposure because, I was listening to TalkSport last night and Jason Cundy just ripping the shit out of Grimsby. So people do that.
He really? What was he saying?
Alex, you can't talk to anybody about ripping the shit out of other clubs or other places.
No, but I that's them. They're shitholes. And I'll be the same with Brighton. It'll be the same with Brighton. Brighton is a shithole. As someone who has to go there quite a lot, it's a shithole. What were you going to say, Mike?
He was just taking the piss out of the town and the club, like going through, in 1890 you won something, just taking the piss out of a little club.
Who is Jason Cundy?
He's an ex-Chelsea player, isn't he? He does a sports bar. He's always on the wind-up. But the point I'm making is that as a town like ours that has had problems in attracting players, you want to go to the bigger clubs, take the biggest following, and give a good account of yourself. And I think Brighton's the best vehicle to do that outside those Manchester clubs. Maybe an argument that Fulham could also do that.
We've won more than he has. Christ, he scored 8 goals in his career. Fuck off. Anyway, interesting.
Did you see Troy, Alex? Did you see Bristol Glennon nearly sound like he was almost in tears on the interview after the game in front of the town fans?
Yeah,
he was like choked great. Up. Look at that. He's going, but look at that, waving his arms to the 4,000 on the bank behind him. We need to talk about that as well, don't we? The atmosphere last night was absolutely. I can't remember the town fans as loud as that for a long, long time.
Do you know what helped it? A bloody good drummer. There was a bloody good drummer yesterday, and he kept it going. That one, the Ali Ali O chant that went through, and it didn't even stop when they scored. That was down to him drumming and keeping it going and putting it up there. Because when you got a crowd that big, and let's face it, we're not used to that sort of thing. You can have, we did occasionally have one side singing one thing and another side singing another. That keeps it all together, and I think it worked really well, very much like it did at Wembley.
That after at the end of the celebrations, that that Que Sera Sera was just sung at a lovely speed. The whole stand was singing it, and it was just brilliant. I mean, I know it's tongue in cheek.
But I went mental when we first sang it. We sang it when we were like 2-1
way too early. Way too
20
early.
minutes to go. I was like, "Are you all mad? What's wrong with you?"
Yeah, no, I was the same. I was like, I'm not joining in that. That's just one that, you know, if the game goes against you in it, that look at these Grimsby fans, look, singing on 70 minutes, look, Que Sera Sera, whatever. Well, you know, it's like, no, that just sets yourself up for a fall. It didn't, luckily. But
that would have been the meme. Unlike the guy who was shushing when it went 2-2 and then he got disallowed. Fortunately, that's the meme. If it had been reversed, then we'd have been the laugh, wouldn't we? It's like that. Do you remember Baldy at Luton, who was giving it large to us all afternoon?
I love that dude that gave it the big shush. Went big, went early, went home.
There was a load of them. There was this one lad, because I was stood right next to the Southampton fans, who I locked eyes with, and he was giving it all game. There was a lot of fatty. And then when we scored the second, I just looked at him and pretended to fall on the floor laughing, and just.
I apologise for shouting that at you, Alex. By the way,
yeah, that's all right. Don't worry about it. It was totally deserved. It was that £6.50 pizza and the 4 that followed. It was, and then it was the just laughing at him. And then when they scored their equaliser, he quickly appeared again and was like up the front, you know, doing this sort of thing. And then the second it was disallowed, I turned around and he'd gone.
Is it just me that loves the imagery of one spotty 14-year-old that always ends up offering 4,000 fans outside?
It's so funny.
You just stand there like, come on then, like, really? Okay, mate. Yeah.
It
Got
was
3
so.
pubes, but you offer 4,000 fans out.
It's very funny, and they're like, "We'll meet you downstairs." Have you seen out there? We can't go that way. We're all going to have to walk all the way around the stadium before we can get to each other for a bit of a tit-a-tat. I loved it. Bruce, what were your thoughts? I saw you down at the front. You were loving it. On
what? Just in general? Or
yeah, just in the atmosphere where you were.
It's just good. We thought we'd got a really good view, and actually, it was the shittest view in the ground. We were at crossbar level. If you sat in your seats, you were at crossbar level. And there was one row where you had to either stand up, which we did anyway, or you had to bend down so you could see underneath the crossbar. But it literally wiped out the whole. We thought we'd got quality seats until the game started, and then it's like shit. A row below or a row further back would have been perfect. But I just after the game, it was great. I see some of the lads that I go with sometimes that I know quite well, and you get you're hugging people, and you're like, have we just done that? Are we in the quarterfinals of the FA Cup? You know, regardless, forget whether they've changed the team or not. That's not our problem. You know, we've done something that, you know, when we first went to Wembley, there were generations and generations of town fans that had never seen us at Wembley, even during the glory years of the 30s. Yeah. And, you know, they'd never been to Wembley. And when we went in 98, that was so special. And now we've done something that we haven't done in 84 years and
we'll go again soon.
And we haven't got long in April. We haven't got long to wait, have we, for this next round? So we'll see what happens after that.
Yeah. The last thing on the crowd, we now have we have a new fan. Apart from who's the Colin Murray, who loves us, because I was listening to him on 5 Live after the show, and he was talking about how much he loves Grimsby because of Barnet and the inflatable women jumping up and down and stuff like that. Ali McCoist was in love with us. He loves us. There's a couple of things he said. I've never wanted to be in a stand more than that. I've never seen an away support like that ever. He was absolutely loving it. I think we've got I think if the club do not get on to ITV and get Ali McCoist a Grimsby shirt and a Harry Haddock, it's their second biggest fuck up of the week.
He has to be on comms for the Brighton game, doesn't he? He has to be on comms for the Brighton game. Adam Summerton loves us as well, though, doesn't he? Just judging by his Twitter.
Yeah, but we've got he'll be back to us next year when we're in the Europa League.
What I mean is, there's obviously something about us that I don't know whether it's our away following in general or whatever, or Hursty, or the way we play football. But there's obviously something about us at the moment that kind of like propagates a culture of the kind of media quite liking us. Once we eventually get a bit of exposure, I mean, I had to get that in there. Wrexham who, but it's there's you hear apart from Jason Cundy, who is a professional wind-up merchant, I've heard lots of people going how great it is that Town are in this. It's an amazing thing for the club. And what an amazing opportunity now you saw what Lincoln did on the back of their cup run, and this is the most exposure we've probably had I can ever remember. I can't speak before that, to really kind of go for it now and kick on with the momentum of it, really invest in the squad for next season. Maybe get some outside investment for this new training ground and just use this to go on and become a really serious footballing operation again, removing the emotion from it for a second. But that is now the opportunity. We might now. There was a narrative that we might lose a load of season tickets. This might mean they keep up now. This kind of thing. It's just the last. Moving on sort of more broadly. You're all older than me. Can you remember a last 12 months of supporting a Grimsby Town has been anything quite like this?
97, 98 came close, but it didn't. It doesn't match this, I don't think. Bruce, you might be able to say otherwise.
No, 97. I think, like you say, we were on a roll that season, weren't we? We obviously got promoted after a slow start at the 2 Wembleys, but we also went to Liverpool in the League Cup and Ellen Road in the FA Cup. So we went quite deep in both the competitions, and then we had a bloody good season, finishing 9th in the Championship the year after. So we are talking different levels, but no, I think like you say, it's certainly been really good. It's certainly been really good on par maybe. But yeah, the playoff campaign, we've obviously faltered a little bit in the league this season, haven't we, compared to where we started? But no, it's been brilliant, and the club does feel like it's going in the right direction, and the away followings that the fans, and the numbers at home, the atmosphere is not always great, but the numbers at home, the club it does feel like it's going in the right direction. And I think somebody said, we worked out that in prize money and TV money, we've made nigh on $500,000 already.
800,000 so far, mate.
Already 800.
Yeah.
With TV money, yeah.
So apparently we get 250 grand for the TV money, and the loser of the next round gets 90k anyway. So that's another 340. It's worth £1 million basically the cup run now.
And that doesn't include that. And that doesn't include and that doesn't include the gate receipts. Sorry, Sam.
And Jason said today that'll all go into the fund for next season. And I think his terminology that he used in interview last night was it puts wind in our sails for next season, which is like Sam's alluded to, points to in the direction of what Lincoln did. They used it to move the club on to the next level. And it does feel like a real opportunity. But just this last week, though, just changing subject slightly, the amount, even pre-match, the amount of coverage and national media coverage that we've had, that just Mike Bushell turning up, to talk to people on the beach and around the town and stuff like that. And
talked to you, didn't he, Bruce?
He came and chatted. I had a chat with him and I lined him up.
You're always hanging around on the beach, aren't you?
That's where the good chips are, but not at Papa's. But yeah, so we
Seaways.
It's been Seaway. It's been that was with 16 teams still left. There's 8 teams now, so get the next week out of the way, and that's just going to step up another level. There'll be Japanese camera vans down the front. It's just we're going to get, whether we've got the draw we wanted or not, we're going to get massive amounts of coverage, and it's just going to put the town on the map, isn't it? And it'll further enhance that.
I love you, Bruce. It's just the idea. Oh, Japanese! I don't know why Japanese cameraman was the way where you went to.
We're going global. We're going global, aren't we? We're in the quarterfinals of the most famous cup competition in the world.
It's this idea that there's a Japanese camera van that has driven all the way from Japan. It's had to go like across Russia and across the Urals.
Well, it might be from Ready Rent a Van with a Japanese cameraman in it then.
It set off in round 1. He was meant to be here from Plymouth.
They knew we were going places, didn't they?
Just guys, just before you do move on, I just linking back into Ali McCoy. So I want to say Seb Hutchinson. I listened back to the game, and Seb Hutchinson was really, really good. Firstly, he's a good commentator anyway, but secondly, you could tell he'd done his research and knew his stuff. And what you tend to get a lot of when a lower team like us are playing is they do a quick wiki search, get some headlines, read maybe the first couple of posts on a website, and then that's it. But he'd definitely done his research and knew what he was talking about. And as a lower leagues football fan on main television, that's nice to have somebody that actually knows what they're talking about and has taken the time and attention to look into Grimsby Town and what we're about and stuff. So I thought that was really, really good as well.
Yeah, there's a couple of things that's worth listening to if you want to keep this rolling. So Football Daily from last week, they did obviously the immediate reaction. Yours truly's on it, so that ruins it. But other than that, you can skip that. And then the Football Ramble did a live reaction thing on it, so you can listen to that. There's quite a bit on town on there. Granted, Luke Moore, one of the commentators, spends the first bit of it reeling off everyone we've lost to this season, which made me feel a little bit down. And then there was the Football Weekly didn't do too much on us, which is a shame. It was like 5 minutes. It wasn't incredible given the achievement it was. But there's quite a few out there, and The Athletic has done a really good long article on where we are as well. So quite a lot that you can go through on it.
Did you say that Colin Murray did a bit? Because I obviously listened to TalkSport for some stupid reason, and like they mentioned it like once or twice, and it was more in passing and taking the piss than anything else. So I might go back and give Colin Murray a listen then.
Yeah, it's at the very beginning when he's handing over, and he says he's one of his clubs that he follows after Barnet. And he's always had a bit of an affection. I remember he did a lot on us during Operation Promotion. Welcome aboard, Colin. Take a seat next to Ali.
Ali is literally now ready to march on Carlisle like he was in the Euros. He'd be there on Saturday.
He's basically home.
And if you want to come up, lads, you can always thumb a lift off the Japanese camera van on the M25 next Wednesday afternoon.
Oh, could you imagine him? I've got to Carlisle. I've gone the wrong way. I've got to get back to Brighton now. Is anybody going to Carlisle? I mean, that is an incredible effort if you are. Bruce, have you been thinking about it, or have you got...
Maisie's away at Barton on Saturday, mate. So unfortunately, it's not on the agenda this week. I know lads that are going that went yesterday. Well, a lot
Tom's
of them.
going. Tom's going, isn't he?
That's across the road from him, isn't it, though?
Well, that might be across the road, but that means that Southampton's probably a long way away then.
I don't know about Luca. What was she like in the studio, Luke? I haven't watched that bit. I've skipped over and just watched the game.
She wanted Hunt sent off. She was
what did Hunt do?
He's challenged that he got a yellow card for. I mean, it was a bit reckless, but from looking at it, it was a yellow card and nothing more. Just she didn't seem to really be that into what we were doing, to be honest. But I didn't pay it much attention. Yeah, fine. She seemed a bit overly critical, to be fair.
Okay, fine, fair enough. Not for you. That's all right. Hopefully, we'll be on BBC next time to get it on. I assume it's going to be a TV game. Has it been confirmed when we're playing?
Won't they all be on the main channel this time? You would have thought.
Could you think imagine Shearer having to do our game?
Oh God! But he was bad enough with the draw yesterday with the bloody warm balls, wasn't he? I bet ours was the only cold ball. I bet ours was the only bloody cold ball in the bag. Oh, Brighton away. Where's that cold one?
He knew Grimsby's because it has a little nick in it. The ball had a little nick in it just above its. Yeah.
If he is doing our game, can we get in touch with Justin Whittle and ask him to come on the pod the day before or something?
Justin needs to do bloody co-coms with him in the box.
You can there's no commentary. There's just a ruckus in the background.
Wherever it is.
We just see Shearer fall from the gantry, won't we?
And where was the and is there a replays in the next round? Not like I've ever had to worry about the quarterfinals before.
No.
It's normally Man City against Tottenham, isn't it, in the quarters?
One game away from Wembley, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we could already have qualified for Europe by the time we get to the semis, couldn't we? Because the other teams that are left, if it's City, United, and is there anyone else in there? Is there a third big European team? I don't think there is this year.
There's not many.
That's not how it works, though. They don't let you do that.
It's opening up for us, Bruce. Look, this is what we're going to do. We're going to be in denial about it. And then when it gets to the point where we do win it, or we finish runners up, then we need to, kick off almightily and get this new media wave storm behind us to get us back into Europe.
Could you just imagine?
And apologies if anyone's watched.
First minute, McAtee goes through, keeper and centre half like poleaxing. They both get sent off, penalty. That's what I'm thinking is going to happen. 2 red cards in the first couple of minutes, penalty, and then we'll shut up shop. Wembley, here we come.
Just for anybody wondering where Sam's gone, he's just sent a note in our private WhatsApp group saying that there's a new video being released on Pornhub, and he's got to go. He'll be back in 2 minutes.
Was Alex just checking your phone to see if that was true then, Alex?
I was checking Pornhub.
Got alerts, haven't you? Push notifications.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, it's great. Ollie, I'm not saying that. Let's have a look. There's just a lot going on.
Yeah, go through some more of those messages, mate. Just reel them off because there was quite a lot you flashed up on the screen, weren't you? That were quite good.
There's so many. Very surprised. Ben Clayton says very surprised to see Ward-Prowse making errors and losing concentration. I was just worried about his set piece delivery. Premier League first touch is really good, says Richard Sutcliffe. They're not as good in the air, heading in the centre of midfield as used to being on the floor. I was only worried when Ward-Prowse came on, says Andrew Niles. Jack Griffin says even Corey was excellent when he came on. Looks like he's the future. Stephen McDade says Hurst always has the team well drilled in what they need to do. Hurst has been clever bringing on Corey. The confidence he will get from that cameo will help him massively. Luke O'Hara says anyone's erection's not gone down yet. May have to ring the doctor. Don't ring the doctor, mate. It's fine. Just keep bashing it out. It'll go down sooner or later. I really wish Clifton scored from that Emmanuel cross. Would have been amazing, says Ben Clayton. Was that shot from Clifton when it came over to him and then he belted it and it got blocked on the 6-yard box? I think that was going in, that one. And if that had gone in, I'm on the pitch. And also, before we do anything as well, we need to make a comment about the halftime as well. The halftime relay. We need to bring that to Blundell Park, by the way, because that was a lot of fun. And that lad absolutely made mincemeat of that Southampton dick. Yeah.
I celebrated that more than any of our goals. I'm not even kidding. I'm sat down thinking we've lost, and he's bent a worldie in.
Yeah,
Keepers no chance. He's had all their pants down. He's made them look right arses.
I think we need to give that lad a round of applause. I'm giving him a round of applause because that was Mike. Get involved and clap your hands.
I'm clapping my hands. They're just down here. Bloody hell!
I think that was amazing. Yeah, well done to him. That was brilliant.
Sign him up.
Sam says, despite being a midfielder, Evers filled in at left wing back and he showed his defensive work rate last night amazingly. Richard Sutcliffe says the pre-game ITV guy called it well. They dropped too many first-team players. Big risk highlighted what might be coming. Josh Doello says, Hurst out of this world. Ben says, McAtee Derby for the final. Absolutely, Ben.
Yeah. I am going to be the next time there is any criticism of kind of Hurst and his suitability for the role of being Grimsby town manager. I'm going to be even more militant than I've ever been before. It's going up a notch next time that the anti-Hurst narrative begins.
He's bringing the water cannons out,
and the anti-Michi Effetti rant as well, who was fantastic last night. I'd like to say.
Well, I went in on him last week, mate. In fairness, so
I thought
I've been storing this up for.
I thought Effetti was really good, but I think it was maybe his man that he was meant to marking for the goal. But that's not fair. But if you
nobody from last night,
it's not fair.
That's completely unfair.
Anything at all.
Well, it's true though, isn't it? You got to say it. Like that's the thing.
It's not.
It was.
No, it's not. It's not going to be Michi's man. It's on the other. It's on the other side of the goal.
Is his internet going?
Michi would be on the other side of the goal. Otherwise, he'd be on the wrong side of 3 when the
what free serve.
No.
He's just so angry. He doesn't know the words.
Michi was probably
so
my
angry,
man.
He's gone dial up.
He'll be carrying pigeon along at the minute, telling us.
I'm watching that back, but I think
the Wi-Fi is really random here tonight.
Oh my god.
That's because there's so many. That's because there's so many people in your bed sit, mate.
That's it.
There's 32 of you sharing the internet in a 2-bedroom flat.
Is that what he wanted all those haddocks for? Did you get him them in the end?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, there is.
If it's Shearer, I'll just do
Harry's
what
there.
Elro's
As you
saying.
can see, he's buried in the background. He made it home.
Bloody hell, he's so far behind. He's still talking about the bloody Burton game.
Yeah. There we go. Do we know when the Brighton game is yet? Andrew, I don't think we do. TV's team
Sunday.
Got to work that out.
Is it?
Oh, fine. Is that what you've decided, Bruce?
it?
What, Mother's Day?
No, I've heard quite a few whispers. It might be Sunday.
Who
Could be
from?
wrong.
Anybody that
Could be
knows
wrong,
what they're talking about?
But apparently, there's something to do with Man United and Man City can't play on the same day. And yeah, there's a few messages going around that it might be on the Sunday. Brighton have already got a game scheduled on that Sunday at the Amex, so everything police-wise and everything would already be arranged.
But aren't Man United playing on the Thursday? They're playing on the Thursday in the Europa League, so they'd have to.
Yeah,
play
well, I
on
think
the
they've
Sunday.
got to play on the Sunday then, so City play on the Saturday.
Or the Friday.
I don't care. I'm just gonna wait for them to tell me when the game is.
No, it's better to go with my wild speculation, mate. People,
Bruce says,
But
Get your
let's be
hotels
honest,
booked.
if they do that, that just proper shithousery against a team like us as well. Doing it on a Sunday, Saturday's better so people can get down there in leisure and they've not got to rush back for work on Monday. We've already played the bloody game on
we'll
the
still
South
go on the
Coast on a
Saturday, won't
Wednesday.
we? We'll go on the Saturday and have a good day out on the Saturday, and then we'll just come home Sunday.
Yeah. But it's not
we'll do
ideal.
that. We'll do that anyway, but it's better than Friday. We don't need any more days off work.
Yeah.
what was Southampton having us walk into the players' entrance in the dark side of Star Wars music? Is that what it was? I've got to be honest. When the Saints go marching in, it's a bit majorette, isn't it? It's a bit high school. When they had their marching band come in, it was a bit. I didn't like it.
What was the attendance? I was going to say it was a bit
zero.
It was a bit shit when you do that sort of big build up and you've only got like a third of the ground full in your home ends. What was
that
the
was
crowd?
disgraceful, wasn't it? No, they haven't released it, and Christine was trying to find out earlier.
They haven't released attendance.
Anybody got any videos? We could probably have a good count up quickly, couldn't we?
How embarrassing was that? I understand you're bottom of the league, but I mean we're 16th in League Two for Christ's sake. Like quarterfinals for Southampton don't come along that often. So why are you not filling that ground? I don't understand it. I really don't understand it. It was such a pathetic attendance from them. It really was.
I was also on a separate note. It was nice to see Jason and the directors hosting Laurie and Mrs. McMenemy. I thought was a nice touch. That was really good, and Jason seemed quite happy to be have his photograph taken with the legend. So that was nice to see.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, definitely. Someone Ben Bristow says, as someone who lives in Paisley, home of St. Mirror, it's a good laugh when the local nightclub start playing hairstyle remixes when the Saints go marching in when they rarely win. Okay. I don't know what that means, Ben. Tackleberry says 27,584. It was not 27,000 there. It may have already been asked, but what is our prize money up to now? I think it's about 800 grand, Ross, not including tickets. Luke says, heard them announce 17,000 something on the Tannoy watching back. Oh, okay, fine. So 17,000 and summit. Michael Nicole says, great porn star pose, Bruce. Ollie says, please don't play on the Friday. What? Have we got any others here? Let's have a quick look. Gav Holohan on the hub yet? He should be. We haven't even talked about Holohan scoring those 2 penalties. Harry Kane couldn't manage it. 2 penalties in a game. Incredible.
It's a good job Glennon missed his on Saturday, isn't it?
Right, bloody isn't it?
You're moaning about Glennon missing it. Well, this wouldn't have fucking happened if it weren't for that, was it?
Hey, if he'd have been taking them all season, we'd have been in the bloody playoffs.
Yeah, that's not with
championship in 5 years.
I'll tell you what, he took 2 quality penalties.
Yeah, it was a good penalties. Yeah, he can be penalty taker from now on. The thing is as well, though, that it showed exactly how terrible our refs have been. Because if it hadn't been from VAR, Walcott would have scored a goal that was offside. We wouldn't have had a handball, and we wouldn't have had poor Orsi being, attempted murdered.
Well, the ref gave the penalty for Orsi.
That was true.
VAR. Yeah.
I thought, well, do you know what? I don't know about that because I know it wasn't VAR, but I wonder if there was a bit of chatting in the ear because he didn't give it straight away.
I think it was the lino because the lino was on that side and that's the side he was hitting. Can I just say, by the way, despite what Southampton fans and what media and social media posts are and ITV football and things like that try and get a bit of interaction, that is a penalty all day long. You cannot turn around and hit somebody, regardless if Horsey's falling over like he's been shot. You cannot just turn around and hit somebody on a football pitch. I don't care if it's in their face, in their back, on the bloody toe. You can't.
It is soft. It is soft.
It's not. You can't turn around and hit somebody, Bruce.
No, but I reckon if that happened in a crowded penalty area at a corner, I think 9 times out of 10 it wouldn't be given. It was because there was just the 2 players isolated up near the goalie that it was seen. I don't think. Yeah, it was a penalty all day long, but it was great for us, wasn't it?
It's just a shame.
What would you have said if it was the other way around? We would have been a bit upset, wouldn't we?
I would have been fuming with the player that's decided to turn around and hit somebody.
It was stupid, wasn't it? It was stupid.
That's just, you've lost control of your emotion. You've lashed out at an opposition player. I don't care how hard it is or where it is. You don't do it. Get him off the field.
Can't speak.
You're diabolical.
Oh dear, I know, but the game is a bit soft nowadays, isn't it? But I'm not complaining. We had a lot of things go in our favour yesterday, and it made a nice bloody change.
Do you? What do you think went in our favour?
Well, all right, I'll rephrase that.
No, it's true.
We bemoaned VAR last time, didn't we? And
we did have a player sent off.
It's given us a penalty, which it was a penalty, but without VAR. Yesterday in League 2, the score would have been 2-1 to them.
Yeah, absolutely.
I do now completely understand what fans of Premier League teams have been saying about VAR in the stadium. I'm texting my mate George about, is it offside or not? I've no idea, and he's texting me back, oh, it's clearly offside. About 3 minutes later or 2 minutes later, they actually make the decision. So in the ground, you have no idea what's going on, and that's ridiculous. That's got to be sorted.
It just takes far too long, doesn't it? And I mean, even when the referee went to the monitor, I've done it. Have you watched that back yet?
Yeah,
he went to the monitor. Long. They told him to go to the monitor and have a look at it. So,
but they kept showing him the wrong angle.
That means there's a penalty. He must have stood there for another minute watching it replayed over and over again. But
he kept watching the wrong angle where it looked like it was the head. If they showed him the first angle, which was behind, which showed it was a clear handball, and after that it wasn't. Ollie says it was great to have VAR for the extra celebrations, though. It really was, and especially that bit, when that first VAR call for the penalty, and you're like, oh, hang on, they're looking at this for a handball for quite a while, and it suggests then that this is close, isn't it? And everyone's going, oh, that was good. I like that.
Well, it's a good example of it is, I was asking around me, have they had the ball in our box recently? Like, whose penalty? Because I couldn't quite remember because I was looking away. If we'd broken away, I was like, is it our penalty or their penalty? What's going on?
VAR was a little bit like Central London is for me. It was nice to dip into it, but I wouldn't want to live there.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, that's a good analogy. Right, and I think with that wonderful analogy, we'll leave it there, shall we? Because we are off to the quarterfinals of the FA Cup for the first time since 1939. How mad is that?
We're going to lose on Saturday.
we can't, Mike.
I'm telling you now. I'm telling you now.
Alex was just about to finish then. That was it. That was the end. And now you've... Right, Alex, just do that again. We're going to the semi-finals of the FA Cup.
Shall I go back to the... Hang on, where is it gone?
Do it again.
Don't tell me you've got a script.
No, I haven't. I'm not like David Burns.
An auto cue. You've got an auto cue.
Working?
No, when you play music, we don't hear
right,
it.
you need to do your talking bit now, and just then we just hit the credits.
Okay, fine. Epic background, it's called.
Oh, God, this
you
is
have to
really
pause for dramatic effect when you finish.
This is really not effective now.
Oh, I'm sorry. Well, that's it, everybody.
It was Mike's fault.
We are off to the quarterfinals of the FA Cup for the first time since 1939. Goals from Gavin Holohan from the penalty spot twice meant that we vanquished Premier League Southampton. We've beaten Plymouth Argyle, runaway league leaders of League One. We've beaten Burton Albion, who relegated us back to non-league in 2009-2010. We've beaten Cambridge United, who I never thought we'd ever win against. We've beaten Luton Town, our old foe from the National League, and we've beaten a so-called port. Look at the tonnage they take in. It is absolutely pathetic. They call themselves a port. We've never lost 1,500 men at sea at once. We're decent at sailing our ships. We don't do that. Have I gone too far? Is it too soon for Titanic references? Well, we didn't do that. We're good, able seamen. We know exactly what we're doing. We know what we're doing in the football. We're off to the quarterfinals for the first time since 1939. We're going to be down on the south coast again at Brighton. We're all going to be there. Get your Harry Haddocks inflated, and we'll see you down on the south coast.
Open wide for some soccer!
And
Good
now
draw.
the shipping forecast issued by the Met Office on behalf of the Maritime and Coast Guard Agency at 1130. Go! At 1130